Oh, today we're going to talk about soybeans and how I get them in the ground, antique style. Stay tuned. So what we have here is a 1940 Farmall M and a 1971 International 510 grain drill. Now these drills were made in Hamilton, Ontario. That's where International had pretty much all their drills made, was in Hamilton, Ontario. This came after the number 10 grain drill, which I know a guy right now that has a operable number 10, really old grain drill. They stopped making these in the late 70s. After this, they went right to the 5100 soybean special. I fail to see the difference. I've used both types of drills. I've used this, the 510, and I've used the 5100s. They do about the same job, let's just say that. Now, a factory farmer or a corporate farmer, a guy that's doing 5,000, 10,000, whatever acres, he's not going to be able to use this, or she, or whatever you want to call it. Let's go with it. There, that's a gender inclusive term. It's not going to be able to use something like this because this is designed for, you know, somebody that's planting 100, maybe 200 acres in soybeans. It's not designed for the factory farmer doing 5 or 10,000 acres. Now, those factory farmers have a nickname for these kind of drills, and that is, or at least what they do, and that's what they say is a control spill. Now, I pretty much think everything's a control spill to a degree. Now, not if you have a computer hooked up to your planter, it's probably not considered a control spill. I don't have to worry about that. I'm not doing thousands and thousands of acres, especially in a downtrodden market where all of those acres and all of that production drives the market down more. Decrease the supply, you increase the demand. This is a commodities market, but back to the 510 grain drill. Now, it is in its work clothes, does have some paint peeling off. Real easy to do. I take a wire brush, I knock it all off, I tape where I need to tape, and I go with the International 2150 red paint and the white right out of the can, and I will show you that right now. So here's the paint that I use. It comes right out of the pop can. 2150 red. It is the original IH red and the IH 935 for the top. So it will get a good coat of paint. Of course, after planting season is done, I'm going to throw some acres of beans in the ground and then go ahead and give it its barnyard finish. Now, the thing about these grain drills in particular, and I'm not speaking for other grain drills, I'm just talking about the one that I own. They are not maintenance free. They are not maintenance free. There are all kinds of grease fittings on these, up in here, all kinds of stuff. One of the things that you definitely want to do when you winterize these is you want to have nice hoppers. Now, if you ever go to buy one of these, the first thing you want to do is pop the lid and look down in here. This is probably the most critical part of the drill, is where the seed goes, where the seed drops. Now, when I'm done, I will clean all this out with a shop vac. I will suck all the seed out, get all the dirt and everything out of it. I will give it a nice coat of paint. I will paint it, and then before winter storage, this will get diesel fuel down in here. I know that sounds like, you know, I'm making it mucky and gucky and whatever you want to call it, but at the same time, where there's oil or oil type substance, you will get no rust. So this over the years has been very well kept and whatnot. I mean, this is a 48-year-old drill, grain drill, and you see there isn't a lick of rust, and these, nothing's, you know, the panels or nothing has been replaced. So that's what's up with that. And you go here, and now it still does have the original chart that tells you the seed rate, you know, the indicator settings, which are on the front, and I will show you those in just a minute. But you know, I like to set mine right around 10. You go over here, here's soybeans right there, okay? You come over in the column, you got to 10, you got 75 pounds an acre. All right, so a unit's gonna come in about, I don't know, 50 to 55, so it's just a hair over a unit. So I guess when I said I'm gonna drop 190,000 seeds per acre, I meant probably closer to about 170, 175, but who really cares at this point in time? The fact of the matter is it's getting planted. And you can tell the inside of this was well taken care of, because that is the original seed chart for this. So, okay, so you come to the front of the drill and you can see right there is 8 and there is 12, so right there would be 10. That's where this will be set when I go to plant my beans. And drop seed in the ground, and it will be very effective. So that's how it's done. Something else worth noting, this is a double disc openers. Some are single disc. I prefer the double disc. Some guys prefer the single. I don't. I prefer the double disc. I think it does a lot better job cutting through the soil. And here from the back you get a little bit better image of the fact that it is a double disc. Now once the seed drops down through, it comes down right through there. It drops down in, and these chains will cover it up. Now the 5100 soybean special has what's called press wheels on it. That's really the only difference that I could see. I don't like to press my beans at all. I know they're not really press wheels, they're just cover wheels. They kind of a misnomer. But when you're planting beans, I see a lot of guys, they'll plant them and they'll go through and they'll pack them. And the last thing in the world you want to do is pack a soybean. You're planting at 1 inch depths, and I don't pack them in. I like a loosely planted soybean at 1 inch, and I like to let the soybean find its own way up out. A soybean seed does not have the power that corn does. Corn you're going to plant at 2 inches. Soybeans you're going to plant at 1 inch. Now, when to drop soybeans in the ground, there is an absolute correct time to do it, or I should say an optimal time to do it. And that is when your soil is 60 degrees Fahrenheit at 9 a.m. That is absolutely optimal, or warmer, of course. We're not quite there yet. We're still getting nights that are in the 40s. When I woke up this morning, it was about 44 degrees. We're not quite there yet, but we do have some volunteer bean growth growing into the field amongst the weeds and the strawberries and the whatever's growing in here. And let me find a couple of the soybeans. Now I won't be able to do it. Okay, right there we go. That's volunteer growth soybean right there. If I come over here behind the combine, I'm sure I'll find some more soybeans just to show you what they look like. There we go. There it grows. So that is a soybean. This will all be all this dirt will be worked up. In total with the panhandle here, it's about 5 acres. I figure it's going to take probably 6.5 units to plant this. I like to go a little bit heavy. Of course, I do have an antique equipment that I'll be planting with, so I will put on a little bit more seed than, say, a guy that has a metered planter, a $100,000 metered planter that tells him every stinking rotten seed that goes in the ground. I don't have that, so I'm going to probably go about 190,000 to the acre, and I should get 50, 55, maybe even 60 bushels if we have an optimal year. So at any rate, that's what's going on today, and I'm going to get disking. Stay tuned for that.